Warning, this podcast contains adult language, dark humor, alcohol consumption, and spooky shit. You've been warned, motherfuckers.
Are you ready to get spooked?
Welcome to Coast to Ghost, the paranormal podcast that goes state to state telling the stories that haunt the nation. Drown your fears with an adult beverage as we visit Arizona in this episode. Pants are optional as they might get scared right off. We're your Coasties. I'm Heather from Ohio.
I'm Lindsay from Alabama.
And I'm Sam from Indiana.
Now buckle up and enjoy the ride.
Woo,
Holy
woo.
shit, Dick, that was hard.
Holy shit, Dick.
Did you say holy shit, Dick?
That was so hard. You guys are going to have so much fun piecing that shit together. What a shitstorm.
We'll get better.
It's a tongue twister for sure.
Bo show.
Okay.
What you got?
So, drumroll.
That was so fancy.
Thank you.
Oh, we have an EMF reader here tonight. Will it tell us how haunted the story is?
Oh my god, that would be
I don't think
amazing.
it works that way.
Like your story is bullshit or it's really
But
true?
right now it's at an orange, but it's probably because of all the wires I have up in this bitch.
Or your
Or
recording
it's-
booth is haunted.
Yes.
Wah, wah, wah. See, look at that.
So the first story comes from Arizona. No, JK.
They all come from Arizona.
We've already started drinking. I'm going to blame it on that.
Sure.
The first story comes from Tombstone, Arizona, which is home to many Wild West legends. And the Birdcage Theater is no exception. It was open from 1881 to 1889. The theater was a saloon, a bar, a theater, and a brothel, with the ladies hung from the ceiling in crib-style rooms named bird cages.
Ooh, that's some Moulin Rouge shit right there.
Right? It's fancy AF. I want to go.
Okay, so like, I'm glad to hear that they were in cages because when you said there were ladies hanging from the ceiling, I was just like, fuck.
Dude,
It's like,
they
that's
are
some Elizabeth
flexible.
Bathory shit right there.
That's dark.
They are flexible. But did you hear the crib-style rooms?
Yes.
No.
Yeah, why do we have... Yeah.
Because they think ladies are babies.
I mean...
Yikes. So, where is Tombstone, you ask?
In Arizona.
God damn her. According to the cityoftombstone.com,
Oh shit,
sorry,
son.
I'm putting the sources throughout the story so I don't have to list them later. It's about 70 miles southeast of Tucson, Arizona. So if you know where that is, roundabout. The population was roughly 1,300 people in 2016, and the total land area is about 4.3 square miles.
Wait, it
Super
was that
tiny.
small in 2016?
Super fucking tiny. According to the
But it's like a
2016
famous
census.
city.
Yeah, we'll get into it.
Interesting.
It's crazy. So, directly from tombstonebirdcage.com, I bring you the following.
Oh shit.
Do you like how I'm
I
presenting
know. You're
I
getting some
do,
sass
actually.
in your eyes.
It's I do.
that? I'm trying. It's the Angry Orchard. So, in Tombstone, Arizona, it had its grand opening on December 24th of 1881. Like, fucking Merry Christmas,
What?
bitches.
Here's your present.
It gained a reputation. Yes. Would you like to open it?
Would you like a woman in a cage hanging from the ceiling?
I fucking want to be in a cage just to see that experience. You can cut that if
It's
you
like,
want.
I'm under the mistletoe. Oh, yeah? Well, I'm under
in a
the
cage.
sex worker.
I'm under sex worker.
Sec worker.
Sec worker.
The sex worker?
Thank
God
you.
damn you.
Damn it.
I love her sword so much.
It's so precious.
I love it. It is. It gained a reputation as one of the wickedest. I didn't know that was a word. Theaters between
Wicked?
The wickedest.
Ist.
Get that shit right.
Oh man, this is gonna take a while. It gained a reputation as one of the wickedest theaters between New Orleans and San Francisco. The New York Times reported, quote, "The Birdcage Theater is the wildest, wickedest night spot between Basin Street and the Barbary Coast.
Oh.
I think I said those right. We're going with it.
Sounds like a party.
Right? I want to go. So for 8 years, the Birdcage Theater operated continuously, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Bitches were making bank.
Yeah, they were.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Sign me the fuck up. Oh, man. It sounds amazing. So legend has it that 26 people were killed in the Birdcage Theater during its reputed years as one of the wildest and meanest places in Tombstone, Arizona. Over 140 bullet holes remain in the building today.
Shit. You still want to sign up for that?
Pretty spicy. It reopened in 1934 for tourists, and today the Birdcage Theater hosts ghost tours. So visitors and employees of the Birdcage Theater have reported seeing the spirits of former prostitutes and men in cowboy hats. Some claim to have been touched and pushed by unseen forces. At night, the sounds of laughter, yelling, and music have been heard, as though the parties of the Old West are still raging. Ghost tours start at 6:15 p.m., just in case you guys are wondering and you want to come along.
Yeah, I mean, I'm already booking my
Going.
trip, so I might as well.
Yeah, I want to go so bad. The tickets are available daily in the town of Tombstone. Bring your camera and a sense of adventure to the most infamous saloon in the town that never dies. It's so adorable how they
I know.
put that on there.
Do they have that shit gift wrapped in?
So,
Gift wrapped it?
gift wrapped it?
It's another word. We're adding words tonight. It's our own. It's the dictionary of the coasties. Okay?
Yes.
So basically, it's a giant ghost cowboy party.
Yes.
That's
I love it.
legit.
It's so awesome. I have a ton of pictures to send you guys, so remind me. And we'll
So
put them on the...
that's where Garth Brooks comes in.
No.
He's like, blame it all on my roots. I showed up and boo. Get it?
Don't get me
Boo.
started. I will sing that song.
Oh, I will too. I just did.
Like all of it, though. We'll be here for a few minutes.
It's a good song.
So get your pen and paper, Sam, because the address is 517 East Allen Street, and it's on the corner of 6th and Allen Street. So write that down.
Written.
I thought that was important. You did not write.
You don't know my life, bitch.
Oh,
She's
cool.
going to edit this one. She's got it.
Okay.
Was it 517 East Allen Street?
Scroll. Yes.
Damn.
On the corner of 6th and Allen?
Yeah.
Thanks, MapQuest.
Oh, man. Okay, so about the location, the Birdcage Theater can be found in the old silver mining town, Tombstone, duh, which has been historically preserved for tourists who keep the place economically sound. It's very nice of them. It's located at the very end of the main drag, Allen Street, which runs through the historic old downtown. Traditionally, this area was Tombstone's red light district,
Oh, nice.
where all the sec workers went.
The sack work. That gets me every time.
Throughout the years, the other establishments were torn down, leaving only the Birdcage Theater, which is pretty fucking fantastical. Tombstone was founded on a mesa between Dragoon Mountains and Huachuca Mountains. I know I'm butchering that shit, but that's how it looks. Huachuca? After a scrappy prospector, Ed Scheifling found a rich deposit of silver. So while Tombstone was a booming silver mine town from 1880 through 1889 with a notorious and wild reputation, its colorful history is what's given it a new lease on life as a popular tourist attraction. One memorial... blah, blah, blah. Cut that. One memorable event which took place here was the shootout at the OK Corral between Wyatt Earp and his posse and the Clanton and McClary gang. At this theater, Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday drank and played cards there, according to the Atlas Obscura website.
Oh.
And this is where I'm going to pause for a second to give one of our pod buddies a huge shout out. You guys know him, Justin from Mysterious Circumstances and Rev 96. And his new podcast premiered on February 15th, and it's called Blood and Dust, Wild West True Crime.
Ooh.
I didn't realize he had a new one.
Yep, and it's all about
Rimmel?
the Wild West. Yes, and
Oh.
he covers, like in Mysterious Circumstances, he covers episodes about
Yeah.
Wyatt Earp,
Oh, I love
In
that.
Depth, Doc Holliday, all of them. He loves it. So go
Yep.
check out that podcast because he
Sweet.
knows so much more than me about this. I texted him tonight about it because I was like, hey, when does it release? He's like, February 15th, and I was like, oh shit, sorry. But I thought it was sometime this week, but I didn't think I missed it. But
That's cool.
Super excited.
So since I could never do it justice, I want you guys, like all of our listeners, to go listen to that, because he goes in depth about
He's so good about his
Doc
research
Holliday and all that. It's so amazing. Yeah,
He's just a cool guy
is.
anyway.
he is. He's really down to earth and like super chill. Yeah, it would be cool. So the description and history. So apparently, if you visit Tombstone now, it's like you stepped back in time, which I think is freaking amazing. Like, I want to go and, like, visit it just to feel like I'm in that era. It is historically restored to an 1880 Western town that is complete with people dressed in costumes of the era. For example, some visitors mentioned that they were able to see Doc Holliday and Wyatt Earp in their entourage dressed up in their black coat garb. Whatever garb is. They will walk around town in character, and then at some point they reenact the entire shootout at the OK Corral, which is really cool.
I want to see that.
It sounds amazing. So one of the quotes I found from this website, the Obscura website, was, "Tombstone merchants take pride in keeping their town as authentic as it was 100 years ago, giving millions of visitors a real look back into the Wild West as it really was." It just sounds amazing. I love that kind of stuff. So I'm not really trying to give you a history lesson, nor am I trying to sell you a trip or anything, but it's important to understand that stuff before getting into, like, the haunting.
Yeah, no, I understand. I love everything that has to do with Tombstone.
Scene setting. Yeah.
Pizza, the pepperoni, the peppers.
She's so not amused.
Is Tombstone pizza
It's
good?
really good.
It's not bad.
I feel like I've had it once, but
it's not bad.
Okay.
I mean, it's not
I
like...
really want it right now.
Yeah.
I'm craving pizza now. So the Birdcage Theater. It is one of the most haunted buildings in Tombstone. I feel like probably because it's one of two buildings even there. This notorious place of vice-inspired and robust entertainment was considered to be a wildly wicked den of sin and rowdiness.
Oh.
Sign me up again. Open 24 hours. Thank you. It got its name from the 14 cribs or cages draped with velvet, which hung from the ceiling, where the bar's prostitutes dressed in feathers would service men. Plenty of drinking and gambling, along with stage shows, entertained its clientele. It sounds beautiful when they put it that way.
They got velvet.
So,
It's like Moulin Rouge
Let's
and the
stop
movie
here.
Birdcage all rolled into one.
yes. How fun does this place sound, though?
When you said that, for some reason, when you said Birdcage, I was thinking Bird Box, and it was...
Me too! Me too, until she said Moulin Rouge, and then I'm like, okay.
Dude, I still have
backtrack a
not
little
seen
Everyone's,
that.
like, blindfolded. Good.
No, hold on. Let's see. They gave me a perfect idea. I'm gonna blindfold myself and go in there and be like, just take a minute.
Where is it?
Oh, there it is.
No, I'm not commenting on the size. I just can't see shit.
And no, I'm not saying you're small.
Damn it. Oh.
Whew, it's getting hot in here.
Uh-huh. Because we're talking about dick.
No, really, it is. Like, I'm stuck in this room. Yeah, that's it.
It actually doesn't feel too bad in here, but then again, I went outside and it felt fucking amazing.
Yeah, I'm sweating, dude. Whew. Okay. So from the outside, the building is a sturdy stone and brick long building, which is 1 3/4 stories high with a basement, offering 3 levels, and it's 48 feet wide by 150 long dimensions. They like that word long.
Mm-hmm. I like the word long, too.
Inside, it has been called the most authentic-looking establishment in Tombstone, as it is a museum with the best decor, putting on display artifacts and original items which belonged in the 1880s Birdcage theaters. I have pictures of that as well. I'll send them to you guys. It's beautiful. This part really got me. Like, this is so cool. The same original family who had built the place in 1881 has owned the building for 4 generations.
wow.
So that, like, really explains the continuity and authenticity of the displays, like, creating that atmosphere of that
That's
time.
pretty rare.
It's pretty rare. You're right.
God damn it. It's pretty rare.
Okay, see, like, I didn't know if I heard it correctly until you said...
Why do you hate me so much?
I don't. I love you. This is me loving you. This is you after
dead.
9.
I'm just drunk off my ass. I'm sorry.
You are. I love it. It's great. It's so
I'm
fun.
like crying. That's
I
pretty
wish
well.
you could be this drunk while you're.
She got me all excited with that dick talk.
I'm sorry. Do you need a few minutes?
Oh no, it's gonna be longer than a few minutes.
Damn, girl.
Oh, shit.
But I do. But back to the 4 generations.
Mm-hmm.
It is pretty rare. And I love that
Damn it, I hate
aspect. Because honestly, though, how many places do you know of today that have stayed in a family for 2 generations, let alone 4, without, like, tearing it apart and changing it and doing something,
Exactly.
you know, so dramatically different just for the money aspect? It's pretty rare.
God damn it.
I said it the right way that time.
But you looked at me and it made me laugh.
And then you looked at me, and then I'm like, I fucking hate you.
Aw. You love
I
me.
do.
Because she was so serious when she said it. It's pretty well.
Oh my god!
Go fuck yourself.
I'm gonna piss myself.
I'm not even kidding. I'm like,
I will
crying.
give you that loan to go fuck yourself.
Thank you. That's what I've been looking for.
Oh, shit.
Oh, man. Okay. So the Birdcage Theater was closed for 50 years, but it was reopened for tourists. Like I said in the beginning, I think it was like 1934. And it was picked to be on the National Historical Places list. The Birdcage Theater was named a National Historical Site as well. People have stated that when they tour the Birdcage Theater, they feel as though they are being watched. They have, like, this overwhelming feeling of, like, another presence in the room with them, but they can't explain what it is. Like, they're not saying that it's, like, a cold chill or anything like that. It's just, like, they feel like somebody's, like, right there watching them, but there's nobody standing there. So it's, like, a weird, eerie feeling. And today you can enter.
And tour.
Enter here. Today you can tour the entire theater, which includes the saloon, the dance hall, the casino, and the wine cellar. Sign me up. I feel like this entire episode. Yes, I feel like this entire episode is like a sign me up fucking pamphlet.
Heather's like at the front door right now.
Like, I'm like ready to buy. Stop trying to sell it. It's preserved so that it looks exactly like it would look had you been in the 1800s.
I love that.
It's like, it gives you that high rollin', high drinking nightclub kind of feel of the 1800s, which is really cool, which fulfilled every man's wildest desires. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was funny when there's a quote on the website. It says, "I thought it rather creepy that while customers were enjoying a beer, having a poker game, or watching the show on stage, that men were having their needs met in the cages hanging above the customers' heads." Like, this lady was so freaking wrapped up in that, and I'm like, calm down, Granny.
Damn it,
Why
Karen,
are you
you're
even in
such a
there?
prude.
Seriously, Linda.
I want to sit here, drink my beer, watch somebody get fucked, okay?
Seriously, just let me do my thing.
She has the I want to speak to your manager haircut.
Oh my
She
god,
so
yes.
does. Sam's like, that's me. Just kidding. I feel like Sam would never do that, though.
Fuck no.
You don't have that haircut.
No, she doesn't. It just, right now, like with her hair all wild.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
It's
yeah.
just on one side, yeah. So apparently if the customer wanted more privacy and a longer time of quote-unquote romance, he could rent a room with a bed down in the lower level, and for 24 hours he could have a good time.
So, like, do they Lysol that thing after?
So probably not, because I don't think it was invented yet.
It was probably just like lemon water.
That's
It
how
was
you get that
probably
scar on
nothing.
your face from syphilis.
Yep.
Did they say how much a full night would cost?
She's wondering. She's like, I'm interested.
I know. I think we could create something today and have, like, competitive pricing. You know? We could build more elaborate cages today.
Yeah.
True.
Be great. So just outside of those 24-hour rooms was the area of many high-stakes poker games and other gaming opportunities. Like, honestly, I don't know if I could play cards if I heard somebody getting banged next door. I'd be like, what's going on?
Like, can I join?
Can I have a turn?
God damn it, we're horrible.
We're terrible people. It's 1:30 in the morning. What do you expect? 12:30 in the morning. Sorry.
I was like,
time's off.
It's like, goddamn, how long have we been doing this?
I don't know. I'm going cross. There were also private second floor balcony boxes or cribs along the side of the main casino floor, where the occupants could see all of the activities down below, the stage show and other events. So, like, they could just be peeping toms and it'd be okay.
That's where all the pervs go.
Those are where all the
like a
pervs
nickel
that, like,
each.
are scared to try. Yeah.
Gross.
There was a staircase that led up to these second floor boxes and the notorious bird cages, which is closed to the living, still reserved for unseen presences who still patronize this honky-tonk. So living people aren't allowed up there, just the dead. So now we get into the ghosts.
Yay!
Spook, spook. So the history of the manifestations of ghosts. The unintended consequences of wild living often resulted in pain, suffering, feelings of injustice and despair, and sometimes a sudden end, according to the website.
Did it, like, jump out of a fucking
Many
window?
of these women...
That syphilis moves quick.
You literally...
God damn it.
You remind me of, like, Larry King for a second, the way you propped your head up, like, blah, 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 into the microphone. Like, you were so serious. Excuse me. Did they jump out of a window?
Because that's really where.
God damn it. I will see you bitches in hell, okay?
God damn it. Please, save us a seat. Oh, man.
Save us a cage.
I got the fast lane passes,
yes.
okay?
Oh, God. So, gather yourself.
And
Many of these women who worked in these cribs or cages hoped to find a man to marry one day in order to leave the business and become respectable, because they felt as though with them doing this type of work, they weren't respectable, persons of society, if you will. So if this didn't happen by the time they were 30, they often killed themselves. So yes, they jumped out the window.
Oh, damn.
She just spit out her beer.
This escalated quickly.
I'm assuming they jumped out the window. I had to, right, when she was drinking. Did it come out of your nose?
No, it didn't. It came close.
That's what she said.
Y'all have no idea how much I love a good "that's what she said" joke. Like, you will always
Dude, it's my favorite.
make me laugh with a "that's what she said" with a well-timed, yes.
I think Heather's, like, literally trying to kill me.
I'm loving this. I'm loving seeing you drunk. It's amazing. So booze, guns, gambling, when mixed together with sorry sports, high emotions, bad tempers, and hostile dispositions, led to gunfights and people dying. As I mentioned earlier, 26 people died in gun incidents in the saloon, and there are still 148 bullet holes in the walls and the floors of the building. What?
That sounded like you said. You're like, bullet.
Bullet holes. God, that's what I said.
Oh, shit.
This episode's fun. It's not surprising, though, that the Birdcage Theater is said to be the home of at least 26 documented ghosts, though as many as 31 entities could be making the Birdcage their home now. Yeah, it's spooktastic in there.
Because they're all still partying.
All right.
Right? Dude, it's fucking... I would be.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I don't want to go anywhere. I'll stay here.
This is heaven. I'm staying here.
Getting boned at every corner.
Yeah, there's cages. Yeah. There's bullets.
Bullets. It's where?
So the activity really jumps a notch or two in intensity after 9 p.m., about like it is here for us. The manifestations have happened during daylight hours as well, but it's very rare. So
I can't even with you.
I'm gonna have a 6-pack after tonight. Like,
oh my god,
she just slipped that in there so casually.
it does. It wasn't even in my notes. I'm so excited.
I was not ready for that. Okay.
Oh, god damn.
I don't think we should edit anything out of this one.
Oh, I think we should, or else people are going to be like, fuck this.
They're never coming back. Oh, man. So there are several different manifestations of these spirits that people have smelled the distinctive odor of cigar smoke and the distinct aroma of whiskey.
Mm.
Yeah. I was hoping it would be a little bit more intriguing and they'd be like, I smell sex and booze. Yeah. But they didn't.
Good song.
I know. I love it. So auditory manifestations, the museum's sound system sometimes turns itself on, providing saloon music, which surprises the living and brings enjoyment to the entities who still patronize the Birdcage Theater. So I'm assuming they just start fucking dancing and shit, like I would.
Yeah.
And I love how this website keeps referring to them as the living and the entities.
Like, why are they even here?
Like, go home. Many witnesses among the living have heard the clear, disembodied voice of a woman singing. Okay, back up. How the fuck can you differentiate a disembodied voice from an embodied voice?
Maybe because it sounds like it was ran through a reverb.
No, because
maybe stop scratching your face in judgment.
Because one of them is in a body and one of them's not. If I'm sitting here by myself in this room and I hear a voice, that's the disembodied one. The bodied one is me.
That tracks. that tracks. Okay. All right. I got
disembodied means like
I thought they were saying like. No, I get that, but that would be you seeing. You would see like an embodied person talking, and then you would like not see another person, but you hear it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they're just talking about like what the people have heard. So how can you differentiate? Like close your eyes. Okay. There's like a disembodied person talking and an embodied person. How are you going to fucking differentiate that?
You would know if there's not somebody there with you. Like if you're in the bathroom of this saloon and you're the only one in the bathroom and you hear another voice, you're going to be like, what the fuck? Disembodied.
Or if you're drunk, you're going to be like, oh, God damn it.
Not again.
Okay. So witnesses among the living have also heard sounds of music. Duh. Sounds of hearty laughter. Strange noises coming from the balcony boxes. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. The guy's jerking it, watching the other people have sex. Probably, yeah, in the grooms.
And for those at home, I was making the jerking off thing with my hand.
We forgot to tell you, this is rated R. Please don't listen to this if you're a
Yeah,
child.
that's the warning.
Yeah, explicit.
Oh, don't worry. We'll have the explicit ! Explicit in the thing, and we'll have Tanya's.
I was wondering if we
Disclaimer.
still had that. Okay,
Yeah.
Good.
They also hear the sound of people talking and the sound of dice being thrown, glasses clinking against each other, and cards being shuffled. Like,
That's fun.
that would sound amazing.
It would.
Yeah.
Like, I love that sound of
It's
cards
just a bunch
shuffling.
of people
I
having a
do.
party. Like, there's nothing.
Right, they're just having fun.
Yeah.
Like, don't be mad. Just be like, okay, cool, I can get into this.
Yeah.
Dude, I tell you what, though, so calming, though, just listening to, like, the cards being shuffled. I can, like, take a deck of cards and just, like, keep shuffling, and I will be, like, fucking relaxed like no other.
Yeah, that's like a stress ball for me. Like, I have, like, 15 decks of cards around here. I love them.
I do, too. Just the smell
Also,
of them.
It sounds like I have a problem. So there are visual manifestations as well. Cheryl Levere, Birdcage Theater manager, reports that the ghosts are here and they're friendly and like to play. Yeah, they do.
Mm-hmm.
Items are moved around and put in odd places. We've seen that before. And apports, which I don't know if you guys know what that word means. I did not, so I looked it up.
What was it again?
It's the alleged apports.
Apports, okay. No.
APPORT. It's the alleged paranormal transference of an article from one place to another, or an appearance of an article from an unknown source that is often associated with poltergeist activity.
Like teleports.
Or seances. Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah. An apport in the form of a never-before-seen $100 poker chip appeared one day on a gambling table, and it was found by a tourist. The owner locked it in a safe, and then when experts arrived to take a look at it to let them know like what it was, the chip had disappeared. The chip reappeared in a locked desk drawer after the experts left.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Yeah, they're like, you're not taking my shit. It's staying here in the saloon.
That's cool.
Yeah. So it's like they're not hurting anybody. These ghosts are not hurting anybody. They just want to have fun, and they don't want you taking their shit.
They're
I
just
don't blame
fucking
them.
chilling.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
They're just hanging out like in like in the afterlife. They're just having a big ass party. Like, fucking invite me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I will do it.
That's pretty sweet.
So then there was even a Wyatt Earp sighting, which Justin will like this. A life-size statue of Wyatt Earp was placed in one of the balcony boxes. Every morning afterward, the museum employees would find his hat sitting in the middle of the floor below. This continued for about 6 months. And then one morning, the statue was even completely turned around.
Oh, wow.
Like, facing the opposite direction. A historian was finally consulted on this, and he told them that they had to put Wyatt Earp in the box where the Clantons used to reserve. They quickly moved the statue of Wyatt Earp to the correct balcony box, and the hat throwing stopped. He just wanted to be in the right place.
Family or something? Like, who was it?
Yeah, it was the clan that he hung out with. I think I mentioned them earlier. Like I said, I'm not a Wyatt Earp expert. That's Justin. So 1 second. He did. Okay, so his posse. So, like, the OK Corral shootout was between Wyatt Earp and his posse and the Clanton and McClurry gang.
Okay.
Okay, I get it.
So, yeah. If you follow that. I'm not following much right now, other than my notes. Transparent apparitions dressed in a variety of 1880s attire have been seen throughout the Birdcage Theater building. Awesome.
Very awesome.
At night, the living have seen a whole room full of entities partying hardy in the main hall. Like they're just having fun. The entity of male stagehand walking across the stage, going about his business is a common report. He is seen wearing black striped pants, a visor, and holding a clipboard. He's just getting shit done. The entity of a female dressed in 1880s attire has been seen going into the wine cellar and then fading into the air. Duh, she got her wine, she's good. The entity of a man dressed in 1880s attire is forever looking for his wife, all over the theater looking sad, depressed, and confused.
Bro, hate to tell you, she's in the cage.
She's getting fucked.
Hate to break it to you, bro.
She's on the balcony. So is it still haunted, do you think?
Well, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yes.
The building.
They're haunted by a bunch of Caspers.
Yeah, the friendly ghosts.
Yay.
There you go. That's where we can go, Lindsay.
Yes.
I want to go there. Yes.
Yes.
This would be my first one that I would want to go to.
Yes. I don't want
100%.
any scary shit. I would just like some nice, friendly, party-like confirmation.
Yeah, they...
And with a slip of the dick.
Perfect.
Please. I mean, ghost stick. Like... So, many paranormal investigations have found strong evidence of entities, and when I was searching about this, there's, like, a lot of shit about it. Like, a lot of ghost hunter shows and stuff like that went there, recorded. I found a bunch of stuff on YouTube about it, but the ones that said that it had, like, Wyatt Earp's voice in them, like, it was, like, a 3-hour-long clip. I could not sit through that just to find, like, a 2-second, voice of Wyatt.
That's why I always look for the subtitles.
Yeah.
Because they always put that shit in subtitles.
Yeah.
True. But, I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there. So, like, definitely I would be down to go to this one before other ones. Just to kind of get a feel for it.
Well, sorry, but we have one in Chicago that we're going to.
Well, obviously. But, I mean, if we're going to plan trips, I think we should definitely put this one on the list. Perhaps the entities who hang here don't know that they're dead. Or they're not ready to move on because their lives were snuffed out so fast, which makes sense. Like, people who feel like they died without finishing something, they don't want to leave. And that makes sense. I wouldn't want to. Like, they're having the time of their life, okay? They weren't 30 yet.
Why is 30 gotta be old?
30 yet.
Yeah. No. The ladies. Like, they said that if they weren't married by 30, they would kill themselves.
Why do they gotta think that's
so,
old?
I feel like... Calm down, Lindsay. I know. I'm in the same boat. I'm almost 30.
Almost. She doesn't know.
Oh, sorry. She got really mad. Are you older than 30?
I have to go.
Way. Are you?
I'm 34.
There's no way. She doesn't look like it.
Okay.
Yes. No way.
I told you I was old as shit.
Oh, shit.
I wasn't kidding.
It's okay. You're using. No, I want what you're using.
It's because I don't act
think
like it.
you
That's
look
all.
old at all. I don't know.
No. It's okay. I'll be 31 this year, so.
Yeah, so.
So, I'm the youngest. I'm the baby for once. I'm always the oldest. One such entity is a member of the Clanton family, probably Billy Clanton, who is a dire enemy of Wyatt Earp, and he had died at the OK Corral shootout. Another is a stage manager who perhaps caught a bullet during a fight. Other entities are in pain and despair. The entity of a broken-hearted, crushed man I told you guys about looking for his wife, he's there. Others found that killing oneself doesn't solve anything, and they trap themselves in a place that they long to escape from, unable to let go of that life. Entities of past loose women who killed themselves also haunt the building.
Aww.
And I found all of that information from Legends of America, Atlas Obscura, and then the websites that I mentioned in the beginning. But I have like 10, 12 pictures for you guys, so I'll send those over and you guys can post them. So
I like that.
It's really cool looking.
Awesome. So I have on deck for us the Yuma Territorial Prison in Yuma, Arizona. And it is also considered one of the state's most haunted areas, which I feel like everything is the most haunted, but hey, whatever. So the Yuma Territorial So the Yuma Territorial Prison opened in 1875, and the first prisoners went in there on July 1st of 1876. Now, when they got these first prisoners in there, the prison wasn't finished yet, and as a punishment, they had these prisoners finish building their own cells and lock them into the cells that they had built. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So throughout the course of its existence, it had a total of 3,069 prisoners. Only 29 of those were women, and criminals had committed crimes ranging from murder to polygamy, but the most common one was grand larceny, so just basically major theft. And the prisons at this time were pretty commonly super, super brutal. And the Yuma prison had a reputation for being brutal as well. But in reality, it was kind of one of the lesser extreme ones. So it kind of got a bad rep. But they had what was called the dark cell. And it was basically an isolation place for rule breakers. And it's just this dark room that had a ball and chain. So you would get locked to a ball and chain. And it was like a 10 by 10 room. It had nothing in it except for an air vent. No windows. Yeah.
Oh, I read about this one.
It kind of reminds me of the Chokey.
What the fuck is a Chokey?
Matilda, do you remember that movie from a long time ago? In the school, the principal had like this thing called the Chokey, and it was like a dungeon like type wall, like door that had like spikes in it, and she would throw the kid in there and shut the door on him.
Oh,
it's creepy.
Ew.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, ew.
But even though when I said that it was one of the lesser extreme ones, it's because they actually had a really good program for trying to rehabilitate the prisoners. They had top care medical services. They had a library. They had teachers that would teach the prisoners to read and write. So even though it seemed like a really bad place, it was better off than most. But while it was open, there were 111 deaths in the prison. Now, most of them were from tuberculosis, which was pretty common during that time. But needless to say, that's a lot of deaths. So, by 1907, the prison was incredibly overcrowded. They didn't have enough room for everybody, which made the conditions even worse. People are crammed into tiny cells. There's not enough food. Disease is getting passed around like hotcakes.
Was it syphilis?
Did you have a scar?
Did they got the
on your
scar?
face? So they had to close that prison down, and they made a new facility. And this building just kind of sat there and started to rot. They had to move everybody out. So it was overcrowded in 1907. The last of them moved out in 1909. And from 1910 to 1914, it actually turned into a high school. Now, after the high school closed, it wasn't really built for that. So it didn't last very long as a high school. So after that, the empty cells basically served as free housing for hobos and drifters. So when the Great Depression rolled around, all these people were coming in, homeless people off the streets looking for shelter. All right, so that's the history of the actual prison. But as far as the hauntings are concerned, most of them do seem to be prisoners with the exception of one. So going back to the dark cell, which was the small room, the prisoners would be placed in there in only their underwear, and they would only get one meal a day, and that meal was literally bread and water. That's it.
Jesus.
They would have both legs chained to ring bolts, and again, like I said, all it had in there was just a vent for air. There was no windows or anything like that.
Jeez.
No toilets, no bed?
Nothing.
Oh my
Nothing.
God.
So they were sleeping against the wall, just soiling themselves.
Ooh.
And the guards would throw scorpions and snakes in there to add insult to injury. So,
Oh my God.
yeah. So after serving time in the dark cell, a lot of the prisoners, they weren't the same afterwards. Now, there are no reported deaths from being in the cell, but there are lots of documented cases where people had to be instantly sent to the insane asylum.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So, yeah. So that room carries a lot of negative energy with it, but right next to it, there was an inmate named John Ryan who was imprisoned in around 1900 for crimes against nature. Now, everybody assumed that this meant that he was basically like a pervert.
Yeah.
And everybody hated him. And so he was treated really bad. He did spend some time in the dark cell, but he didn't die in there. He did commit suicide in his cell, though, which was right next to it. And that was in cell 14. So that cell is apparently haunted. It sits at the end of a corridor. And guards say that when you walk by it, it's really, really cold, even in the summer when it's really hot. And
Words. They're everywhere.
yeah. Oh, and then they also, the people who work in the prison now, because you can go there and tour it, they have heard voices and shouts calling their names from that cell, as if it was like him yelling at them. Now, there's also the ghost of a little girl who apparently, if you are wearing red, the child is for some reason attracted to the color red, and she'll come up and pinch you. And they think that she is the one ghost from the time of the Great Depression. So she wasn't a prisoner, but they think that her family was homeless. Several years or much later after the prison closed, there was a reporter who wanted to go and examine it from a historical perspective and wanted to see what the prisoners went through in the dark cell. And so this reporter goes in there, shackled to a ring bolt, and was going to stay in there for 48 hours with nothing but water and a loaf of bread. And after 37 hours, they had to come and get the reporter out because they were just in there screaming for help and said, "Let me out. I can't be in here anymore because I'm not alone."
Oh, shit.
I kept saying, there's something
I
else
read
in here.
that.
I haven't seen it, but there's something else in here, and it feels wrong. It feels bad. And it's not the fact that I'm chained to the wall. It's not that. There's something in here.
Yeah.
Now, another theory is that there is a cemetery on the same grounds where they buried all the tuberculosis patients, and it holds 115 bodies. But since there were so many deaths at that time, none of them really have headstones or anything. It's just piles of rocks that mark where the actual graves are. So a lot of people think that the lack of recognition has made some of the souls that died there very uneasy. Some of the workers and the people who have toured the prison say that they'll hear phantom talking throughout the cell blocks, as well as the metal clanging sounds of cell doors opening and closing by themselves. So imagine you're just a guard in there working, you know, as a tour guide, or you're just a janitor coming in to clean at night, and you're hearing the cells open and close knowing that nobody's there.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm all
No
about
way.
spooky and scary and wanting to have, like, those experiences, but I can't imagine what I would feel like if I was in, like, a dark, damp, old jail that was closed down and I heard that shit.
And you know a bunch of people died there.
Yeah.
And I wonder why the little girl is, like, attracted to people in red. I wonder what that is.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't know what the significance of red is. I don't know.
I mean, maybe it's a sign of anger.
She's pinching them, so...
Or maybe she had, like, a sibling or somebody who was wearing red when she lived, you know, that she played with or whatever. Because it doesn't sound like she's mean.
Yeah.
She's just pinching. So.
Or maybe she's colorblind, and it's like the whole... If you're not wearing green on St. Patrick's Day, you get a pinch.
She died on St. Patrick's Day.
Maybe.
Oh.
I don't know. It's sad.
But anyway,
so
that's all I've got. What you got, Sam?
I feel so bad because yours are like elaborate and mine's like
Hey.
legitimately like 3 minutes.
Mine
if
was
that.
like really short in the last episode. I think it's fine. It kind of balances each episode.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Works for me. All right, so mine is an entire town that's haunted.
Nice.
It's Jerome, Arizona. So the town of Jerome was built on Cleopatra Hill above a deposit of copper. So there was this large ass mine that was developed in the 1800s, and it went from this tiny little town and blew up to over 20,000 residents who were working in this town. So when the mines closed in 1953, it went from 20,000 residents down to a ghost town of 50 residents. And every single building that's said to be in Jerome is haunted. This whole town is like a walking ghost story. But I'm looking at one in particular, and it's called the Jerome Grand Hotel. So back in 1927, the hotel was originally constructed as a hospital, and the name of the hospital was the United Verde. And in 1930, it was actually named the most modern and most well-equipped hospital in Arizona. It had all the up-to-date medical equipment. It had all the bells and whistles that made it the top-notch hospital in the United States at that time. So, in 1950, with the end of the mining community, because they depleted all the resources of the copper mine, the hospital had shut down. So, from 1927 to 1950, there was a reported 9,000 deaths in the hospital. And that was from illness, from mining injuries, murder, you name it, it happened. So, in 1994, the old boarded up hospital was purchased. I was doing so well.
Purchased? It was very well, but it was purchased.
So in 1994, the old hospital was purchased by a man whose name was Larry Arthur. And with a lot of renovation and a name change, the Jerome Grand Hotel opened in 1996. So it didn't take long from the time it opened for the weird shit to start happening. So the general manager was Chris Arthur. It was Larry's nephew. And he was quoted as saying, "We only had 6 rooms open at first and immediately began receiving reports from guests on hearing voices and hearing a hospital gurney in the hallways, but no one was there. This mainly happened on the 3rd floor of the hotel." And he went to say that they even changed from tile to carpet, but every night at 3 a.m., it never failed. Some guests would always hear the sound of a gurney going down the hallway.
Now, how do they know it was the sound of a gurney? Like, it could have been like a housekeeping cart. They all have wheels.
True, but when they had called down to ask if there's any housekeepers around there around 3 o'clock in the morning, there was nobody on that floor at that time.
Well, shit, that was defunct. Debunked.
I debunked your debunk. And
Carry on.
So, carry on, my wayward son.
Oh, I love that song. It's the Lindsay seal of approval.
It's the song of our people.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
All right. And he also received other reports, but one thing that actually happened to him was late one night, he was quoted as saying, "I once received a phone call at the front desk from an unoccupied room and heard a lady say something, but it was inaudible. I called back and there was no answer. I walked up there to the room and there was nobody in there." Did I mess that up?
No, okay, I'm sorry. I didn't want, you were on a roll, but I couldn't help but laughing because I looked up and I shit you not, Heather was like this.
God damn it.
I was getting into it.
But it looked like your face was melting. You were just like... I just started laughing.
I'm trying to
sorry.
lean on this side, but the mic's over here, so I'm still trying to keep my face over there.
It was really
It's
funny.
not working.
Oh, I love you.
You did great, Sam. It was not you
No,
that
it was.
time.
That's why I was trying to because you were on a roll,
And I didn't know what she was laughing at, so I'm like, and I'm laughing at myself apparently.
It was really funny.
So
I wanted to take a little screenshot of it, but I thought she'd be pissed.
She's like, "Don't do that! Don't do that!"
Okay, sorry.
She's losing it. She's done for the night. She's so tired.
I'm getting there. So there was a room in the hotel that has received the most documented reports of I think there was 4 or 5 floors. It's room number 32, and so the general manager author says at that time it was a former hospital guest room with a balcony, and at that time there were 2 suicides in that room. So he said that one was a former miner confined to a wheelchair. It was reported that he had climbed over the balcony and jumped to his death.
Oh, goodness.
Oh,
And then the second suicide there was a businessman who had shot himself. Which, honestly, it reminds me of the movie 1408.
yes. Oh my god.
I
You've seen
fucking
that?
love that
yes,
movie.
That's a good one. Lindsay, you need to watch it.
It has
You need
has
to
John
watch it.
Cusack and
And he's trapped in the
Yes.
hotel room.
Yes.
And
he
it's-
sees
yeah,
all the
okay, I've
people
seen
that were
it.
in
I've
there
seen
that
it.
killed themselves.
Yes, I've seen it.
I need to watch that
It's
tomorrow.
intense.
And he can't get out of it or something.
It's
Yeah.
weird. There's 2 different
Okay.
endings.
There's something weird about it, yeah.
I've seen
It's such a
it.
good movie.
Yeah, I think I need to try and watch it tonight.
I'm not going to make it tonight to watch it. Sorry.
It's tonight, Monday night.
Okay. He says that they have a book. It's like one of those hotel registries that people would sign in and out. He said they fill up 300 pages of those within a year. And it's all different ghost experience that the guests have. And people also...
Oh man, I'd love to look through that. And
I
read all
would
the-
too.
Me too. How can we get a copy?
I have
Go
no
there.
idea. I wonder if I can email them and be like, "Hey, can you Xerox me a copy of all that?"
That would be amazing.
Be like, hey, we run this highly sophisticated ghost podcast and we really need your documentation.
Super professional.
It's legit.
So, some guests claim to see a ghost cat walking down the hallways.
Kitty.
Like, ghost meow,
Wait, how do they say meow? Do they go
boo meow,
boo ow?
boo meow.
Pew
I
meow.
want to pet it.
Meow boo. Meow boo.
Oh, so this hotel is legitimate that even Ghost Adventures and Ghost Hunters have shot episodes in this hotel. And I was looking through the interwebs and I was able to find some EVP footage. And this one's actually, it's not EVP, this one is actually from a ghost box.
Yes.
So I'm going to play that.
Play it.
Let me turn it up here.
Can you come through this device?
So maybe if I actually played it for you, where you can actually see it, because you couldn't really tell. There was a few different things that were said.
Yeah, you can hear it a little bit.
Angry.
Yeah, if you see it with the subtitles, it's like, what?
Yes.
One of them said, "Our mama." Ooh, that gave me chills. Okay. Yeah. Our mama.
There were so many more videos on there that I could have watched, but that one had the best so far, because I'm going to post the link in the show notes because it had the Ouija board seance and everything.
Yeah, you can.
Dang.
I could hear little things, but when you showed it with the subtitles, you can hear it a lot clearer. Mm-hmm. Like when it said "Our mama," that's creepy.
Yeah.
Nice.
Whoa.
Very nice.
That was a good one.
Well, that's good.
Well, that was my story. It was so small, but at least I got some of that video for it.
No, yeah, you had like really cool
I
content.
looked for it for mine, but there wasn't anything.
Yeah, I wasn't sitting through 3 hours for mine.
Awesome.
That was good.
That was
Was a
good.
really good
I
episode.
know, I liked it.
Yes.
Even though I'm like,
I was gonna say 4 hours later.
You want to do your
we got 2
outro?
episodes. Oh shit, yeah. Thank you for coming to our Dead Talk. Put your pants back on and sober up, because next time we're digging up the ghost in Arkansas.
Woohoo.
See you soon.
bye.
Bye.
My name is PJ, and I host a show called Simply Strange. From cold cases to aliens, cryptids to ghost stories, every episode of Simply Strange is a storytelling experience that will take you on a journey through some of our world's darkest mysteries, putting you in the shoes of those who experienced them, while also attempting to uncover the truth behind the madness. So if you love thought-provoking stories that will disturb you to your core, and maybe make you check the closet before you turn the lights out, then I would like to cordially invite you to come check out Simply Strange at simplystrangepodcast.com, or just search Simply Strange wherever you listen to your podcasts, if you feel like it.